You're going to, okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Susan Chapman. I'm the Director of Member Services, and we're really excited to bring you this first ever outside of the annual meeting orientation. We thought that there's a lot of different activities to cover here. Not always everybody can come to the annual meeting. We have done some in the past at the annual meeting, in addition to the robust session planning that Nate does on Mondays. We also have done one in the past on Wednesdays, and we know how crazy everybody's schedules are. So we thought we would try an orientation right at the start of the year. And so with that, I am going to actually turn this meeting over to Hannah Jeske, who is our new manager of membership marketing and communications, and she's going to moderate. And she is your key contact for division and community and section activities outside of the annual meeting. So Hannah, take it away.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. This session obviously is recorded, so please feel to get comfortable. No need to take notes. I'll be sending something out shortly after this meeting ends. So to begin, I would just like to have Marilyn, Dave, and Ron just give a quick introduction. Marilyn is our CSSA president. So Marilyn, if you could just pop on.
Yes, I'm on, so hello. And it's good to see so many people here. So I'm the president. Last year served, of course, as the incoming president. I work for the United States Department of Agriculture, ARS. Until last week, I worked in Mississippi as basically a molecular corn breeder on biotic stresses, so with C1 and C7 quite a bit. And this week I started a new position with the plant introduction station in Washington State, so now with C8 more. And then previously to being the president, I was the crop science editor, which was a really fun job, I have to admit. And I got to know all of the divisions through the work with the editors. I've been the C7 chair, so I've been in all of your positions. And don't worry, the staff at Access make it very easy. So.
Thanks, Marilyn. And our next introduction is from Dave Clay. He is our ASA president.
Hi, my name's Dave Clay. I'm a distinguished professor at South Dakota State University in soil science, and I'm the president of American Society of Agronomy. And as Marilyn said, last year I was the incoming president, which involved us in developing the program. I've attended 3 different universities: University of Minnesota, University of Wisconsin, and Idaho State University. And I teach at a 4th university, which is South Dakota State University. I teach soil chemistry, I teach introductory soil science, and I teach classes in precision farming. What I'd like to do as we're getting started, I've just got a couple comments about things that I've seen from the last year, and I'd just like to encourage you as you're working forward in your leadership opportunities. As we're moving forward into the next year, I see our fields, agronomy, soils, and crops, as really exciting. There's things that are happening in our sciences that when I started my career 10 years ago, we never even thought about. The things that are happening in genetics, the things that are happening on computers, the things that we can collect and measure are just staggering, and we're able to do problems and solve problems that we only dreamed about. One of the things that our societies, and I encourage you, is to get the dialogue going within your communities to discuss these topics, because it's really critical that we form communities that are interdivisional and interdisciplined to address these questions. And I think that's where some of our best sciences are going to come forward to. So I encourage you next year to get your communities really working forward and addressing some of these complex problems. And the same time as we're moving forward, our societies are really working toward how do we make our societies more successful or more useful for you as an individual. We're getting to the point that we don't accept any types of any types of discrimination. And I'm looking forward to our discussions in the next year. Thank you for your attention.
Great, thanks, Dave. And last is Ron. Ron is our SSA president, SSSA president. So take it away, Ron.
Some combination of those letters, yeah, that's great. I'm Ron Turco. I'm the president of Soil Science Society of America. I am the department head at Purdue University, Department of Agronomy, and I'm a soil microbiologist by training. So I've spent a lot of time in S3 and a little bit of S6 in terms of what's going on. I have interest in, now I have a somewhat wider interest given my role as a department head, a lot to do with the crop production, actually farm operations, a few other things that have come onto my radar that weren't as prominent before I became the department head. So that's all been exciting and a bit changing, life-changing for me in terms of my mode of operation. I would echo what Dave said, what Marilyn said in terms of getting together, talking about things going on, and then echo Dave's comments on our diversity and inclusion efforts are, I think, taking off in a very significant way and a big part of our programming for the next years, I should say, in terms of what goes on. In my past life, I was the program planning officer for Soil Science Society for the last long time, Nate. I can't remember how long, like a million years. I think I've been doing it forever. And then I would echo what Dave said about the staff in Madison. They are a great group of individuals to work with. They make this sort of easy. They'll remind you if you own something, Sarah, and other people will do that for you. So it's a great group to work with. So with that, I'll stop talking.
Great, thanks, Ron. So now we're just going to get into the program, and Nate is going to talk a little bit about the program planning for the annual meeting.
All right. Let me get this out of my way. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, if you go down your agenda, you'll see some important links for you to bookmark. Do make sure you bookmark those links in your browser of choice. Everything that I'm about to talk about also has the acsmeetings.org/planning site in there, and you're going to bookmark that as well. But this is just a quick overview for those of you who were not able to attend the Monday night planning training in Salt Lake City a couple months ago, or if you haven't had a chance to look over that training material since that time. I'm not going to go over all of that. I mean, I don't want to penalize you, those who have gone through this with me already. You've already heard me speak about this ad nauseum. So this is just going to be a quick overview of that. So yes, make sure you bookmark your browsers for acsmeetings.org/planning. And then Hannah's just going to kind of scroll through the website as I talk about it. And near the top, you'll find current updates, tips, and tools. And that's really what's going on at this moment. So I want you to keep looking at this throughout the year. I'll be updating these points so that you know what process we're in right now and what's coming up. So obviously right now, adding sessions for Baltimore, soliciting ideas from your membership, how to coordinate with other organizers and chairs and leaders. And then right now, special sessions, cross dibs, competitive PEF tours, workshops, all of those proposals are open right now. So we want to make sure that you're well aware of that. As you scroll down, there's going to be useful program links, helpful reading to refer throughout the year. Probably of most interest to you right now is going to be a little bit further down. It's the program planning manuals, the timelines, Monday evening agenda from the Salt Lake City training session. There is a pre-recorded video there. That training video is about 25 minutes long. And if you haven't yet, make sure you watch that video as soon as possible and have the manual open beside you. It kind of walks you through step by step. It's a lot of information in that manual. So the video just kind of helps you break it down and not get overwhelmed. It's an important overview of the year's planning arc as we head into that Baltimore process. And then also, it's helpful to print off the timeline graphic, and you can post that in your office, whether you have a home office, work office. It's just a nice visual representation of the upcoming processes. Scrolling further down is information on the graduate student competitions. Susan's going to go over that in just a second. And then my favorite area, frequently asked questions. there's no such thing as a dumb or a silly question. Yeah, a lot of you are new to this. Always feel free to ask. It's not silly, and it's probably been asked a lot before. So make sure that you take a look at this FAQ section first. Often the answer is there, or it'll lead you to the next appropriate step, where to go from there. And then, as always, never hesitate to reach out to me. You can call me, email me anytime throughout the year. Email tends to work a little bit better for me because of the complexity of our program. Gives me a chance to kind of research your answer quickly before I get back to you. But whatever works best for you, give me a call, shoot me an email. Yeah, always feel comfortable with that. But that's just a quick overview. Do we have any questions about that before I hand it back to Susan? Okay, maybe then I'll just hand it back over to Susan. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Nate. I just want to say thank you so much, Nate, for all of the help and the promptness with which you answer emails and help us navigate everything. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, my pleasure. Thank you.
Nate, can I just ask briefly, like the agenda you're referring to, was that was probably, maybe it was in the original email perhaps, or I was trying to find it. And then they sent a bunch of links, but none of those links were to the thing you were paging through.
Okay, so are you talking about the agenda for this particular training, or
It's like what you were rolling through on the screen? I was like,
Oh.
I need to see that. You were like, bookmark these links. I need to bookmark those links, but I was unable to find the links.
Sure. So if you have the agenda for today, at the top, there's the 3 ASA, CSSA, SSA links of leadership information. If you click inside there, there is an online area. Like I'll just click on ASA. If you scroll down, one of the bullet points near the bottom says additional key resources for annual meeting planning can be found in the program planning manual and online. Click online, and that'll get you to the meetings.org/planning. And that is a website that's just for you. Like people can't breadcrumb their way there. It's just for you. So that's why you want to bookmark that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find the agenda somehow, but that's okay. I can work on that.
No, let me, or Hannah, can you put that in the chat real quick?
That would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're going to be talking about it during the membership section as well, how to get to that page.
Cool.
Did you want the planning link or the leadership link?
He's talking about the planning link.
All right.
Either would work. I mean, the way I operate when I get a thing, I just put it in the calendar, but it doesn't, oftentimes finding that original email is not. Okay, there we go. Planning. Got it.
Yeah.
I will follow that. Hopefully I'm online then. Thanks.
Great. Well, I just wanted to give a quick overview of the society-wide competitions. So right now, CSSA and SSSA have society-wide competitions. We just started a couple of years ago, first with the meeting in San Diego for soils, and then both held competitions in 2019, 2020 virtually, and then, excuse me, in 2021. So just really quickly so that you understand sort of how everything builds together so as we get to the annual meeting. Each division, so there's 2 separate competitions, one for crops and one for soils. So each division selects their top student to move up to the society-wide competition. And that selection typically happens within that year's division competitions, but some divisions can select their students in different ways. So what'll happen is there is a list of competitions. And Hannah, can you scroll down to that? So Nate has put together a great guide for students to use as they look to submit their abstracts and select what sessions they want to compete in, and to know if that session has been selected by the division as one of the sessions they'll use to select their student to go on to the society-wide competition. And that is posted under this grad student link, which I will send to everyone. Right now that is listed for 2021, and Nate needs any updates to that by February 11th for posting for the opening of the abstract submissions for 2022. Anyway, so what happens is you'll hold your competitions. You will select your one student to move forward. And I need those names by Tuesday at 6:30 because we have to notify the students of how the competition works and get everything ready for Wednesday. So in these last couple of years that we've done it, we've held it on Wednesday with a poster session in the morning and an oral session in the afternoon. There are 2 society-wide competition committees. We are looking at options for doing the competition differently, either this coming year or in the future, and potentially having all of the student selections done from the prior year, or looking at just different ways that we might do it, whether we might do the oral sessions first and then the poster session after that. I have reached out to all of last year's chairs to get some feedback, and I'll also be doing that for you in case you have any additional feedback on that. So that is it for me. You have this acsmeetings.org/graduates that talks a little bit more about the competition itself. There is significant prizes for the winners, $1,000 for first place, plus an annual meeting registration for the next year, $750 for the second place, and $500 for the third place. We've also got a list of FAQs in there as well. So you'll be able to scroll down and see all of the information about the society-wide competition. And any questions on that right now?
So I think, Susan, just, this year we had all these issues because we didn't have our competitions before the day. So is that part of this that we will, do we need to be in somehow organizing our competitions to occur them before Tuesday at 6? I mean, that should be, otherwise there's no way we can do it, right?
Yes, I say yes, and if Nate has any other feedback as well.
Yeah, that's part of the training, is that we do ask everybody to have their student competitions finished by Tuesday. Sometimes it doesn't allow it. I mean, people will have extenuating circumstances where they choose to go past that, but we really want them held Monday, Tuesday for that very reason.
And there may be some divisions and then of course sections and communities that have student competitions on Wednesday, but those are not the ones they're using to select the person to move forward.
Correct.
Okay, so this does include ASA?
Now, ASA does not have a society-wide competition at this point. So my apologies that I wanted to just do a quick review of this for CNS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So as you're looking at that, maybe we need to change society-wide into what societies are actually involved in this competition.
Yeah, when we are actually talking about this with the CSSA division chairs or the SSA division chairs, or even out to like the students, we're much more specific about it.
Great. Any other questions? Well, then we'll just roll into membership. So to begin, Beth is going to be talking about our discussion boards. And I just wanted to say, as someone that is relatively new to the societies, yesterday I did my first discussion board post, and I did have Beth's tutorial, which is going to be, is available online, and she's going to show everyone where it is, but I had it up and it was really intuitive. I didn't even feel like I really needed to have that tutorial up. So if you're feeling a little bit apprehensive about making a post, just please know that and have the confidence to do that, because it is really easy. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out to me. But yeah, Beth, take it away.
Thanks, Hannah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Beth Jakes. I am the Membership and Data Analytics Manager. So I worked with our department and IT to get these discussion boards up and running in 2019. We got things going. So we've gotten a lot of feedback since then. Open to more. We're still trying to make active improvements on these. to make sure that everything is working well. We transitioned to the discussion boards from listservs for a lot of reasons, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I wanted to do a quick review on the a couple things first, just with how to get there on navigation. So another link that you'll probably want to bookmark if you're using these often, especially around the annual meeting, there's a lot of communication going out. So this / discussion boards that'll work for agronomy, crops, or soils. If you're on any of our home pages, it is a main button on each home page. And then you can also get there from the membership menu and going to discussion boards here. Once you are on the boards, the home page is going to show you all of the boards that you have access to. So you will only see the discussion boards for the communities and divisions if you're on any committees or specialty groups that you are actually a member of. So your screen might look a little bit different than mine, but when you toggle each of these open, you'll see all the boards that you have access to. Quickly, I want to jump over to the tutorial tab up here on the top. This is where if you're going for the first time, you have some questions, you need a refresher, start off here. It has some good information. If you want to join a community or division that you're not a member of, you can do that with the links right here, or you can change what you're a member of, make sure that you're following all the boards that you want to be a part of. The specialty groups on here are on here as well, and those are cross society. So for those groups, anybody in all 3 societies can communicate on those boards as well. So a couple of the benefits with these boards here, all of our members can get involved. Anybody can start a new topic, comment on another topic that exists. You can send a private message to other members on the board here. So it's a really great way to, instead of just having leadership sending out communication, all members can get involved with that. The daily digest is the default email setting. So instead of having maybe anywhere from 5 to 15 emails sometimes when things are busy during the annual meeting per day, the daily digest is 1 email per day with all new content from whichever boards that you follow. And that's something that members can change the settings for. So if they want to do that once a week, if they want some content for some boards to be received right away, they can adjust these settings themselves. Kind of covers some of these other points as well. One of the other really great features for the boards is archived content. So when a new member joins, they can see everything that's been posted for the community and division that they join in the past. So it's not only going forward, they can always see things that are going backwards as well, which can be helpful for you leaders also to look back at maybe things that were posted in previous years and get an idea for all of that information. The society-wide boards that we have as well, agronomy, crops, and soils, each have their own. So those boards, all members of those societies can see the content on that board. So it makes it very easy for us to post that and get it out to all members right away. One thing I do want to note, we have job listings called out here. So we do not allow job listings to be posted on any of the society-wide boards. We do ask that any jobs that are posted on the discussion boards are also posted at the careerplacement.org website, which is our career center. And we do ask members to limit to posting jobs to only 1 discussion board. This prevents people from getting spammed and seeing job postings everywhere. We want the communication to be a little bit more varied than just a job board. Also on this tutorial page, there is a video here that goes over some of the details on how to use the board. So today will be a brief overview. You can watch this video for a little bit more information. We also have some documents here that have screenshots of specific things on how to do. So this page is just a really good starting place for navigating and making your first post. Couple of other things on here important are these settings. So when you are logged into the boards, you'll see your name and photo up on the top right. When you open that menu, there are 2 options for your email settings. The first one is manage followed content. So this is where members can go and change their email settings if they want to see things for specific topics, which is like one post, or forums, which would be the entire discussion board for the C1 division, whatever that may be. So if they wanted to take a look at all the forums they follow, they can go in here and change their settings to get an email notification every time new content is posted, once a day, once a week, or turn off notifications for this board, period. So it gives a lot of control for members to control how often they are getting emails. The other setting I wanted to go over here is the account settings. Under notification settings, this is where you have a couple more. This is going to look a little bit different for you all as well, but here's where you can turn off all email notifications. You can also do this in your My Account section on the Agronomy, Crops, or Soils websites, but we just want to have the options there for members to control the emails that they are getting. So then I briefly wanted to go over how to create a post. If you haven't done that before, you have your navigation menu up top here where you can use to view all the different categories of boards. If you click on it, it's going to take you back to the home page as well. So either way, you can click around with that. I'm just going to go down to our staff test board here so we don't post anything out to all members. But you can go, this is what a forum is. It's going to be each section. So when you are on the forum you want to post to, you'll just hit the Start New Topic button. And you can go ahead and make your post. In the body here, you can change the formatting, you can add pictures, emojis, links, you can attach files here. The file types are listed, so there are some, I know we had some people trying to add MP4 video files. It's not supported by here, but if it is a YouTube video, you could link to it, but otherwise you can attach any of the files that we have here. If you are a moderator, so moderators, you should all be moderators of your community and division boards. You'll see these extra options here. And these are gone over in the tutorial section with what all these different options mean. So I'm not going to get into that right now, but you have additional settings here as a moderator. If you want to set up a poll, that's going to be another option. You can set up your poll title. The polls are very basic. We are working on making some changes to these. So once that is done, I'll be posting another document with a little bit more detail on how to set this up. But right now it's pretty basic where you can have a poll title, and then you can have multiple questions in here, set them up to be multiple choice. You can add different options. So a lot of the communities did use this for their elections this year. We hope to have some changes up for next year's elections as well. That'll make that a little bit more clear for everybody on how to use. But those polls are very handy. We had some use it also for name changes this year. You could use that for annual meeting events, anything like that with those new topics. Once you've made a post on a forum, you can always go back. You can see the history of posts here. And then when you are a moderator and you're looking at a post, you're going to have this additional button here for moderation actions. A couple of the ones you'll likely be using here. Delete, if you need to remove a post, you could move it. You can pin or feature it, which is going to give it, it'll pin it up to the top of your forum, or featuring it'll give it a little star to make it stand out to people. And then the send push notification, which is what likely a lot of people are going to want to use. So that push notification is going to send out this post as an email to everybody who is a member of that board, and that'll go immediately. So that is something that it gives you the ability to reach out to your members right away, but just do keep in mind that that is going to go out to them. It's going to override their email if they have it set to weekly notifications or something. They'll override. So we just want to be careful about overusing that so we're not bombarding our members with messages that may not be time sensitive or that they need to get right away. But there is also in the tutorial section information on the push notification and how to use that there. So the push notification does need to be used within 24 hours of the post being created. So you can't push it out after that 24 hours. That's just another setting that we have to make sure that those notifications are going to be the really important things that need to get out to members right away. All right, so that covers the overview that I had. Are there any questions about the discussion boards or using those?
Of course, you can always reach out to Beth if you have any questions about how to post to any of them.
Yep, I'm always happy to get on a call if you have questions or if you have suggestions or feedback. We are taking that into consideration right now. We're always trying to make improvements on those and make sure that that communication to members is as good as we can get it. And it's working for members and also all the community leaders.
All right, thank you, Beth.
All right.
Great, thanks, Beth. So now we are going to talk a little bit more about membership. So there is, obviously, we talked a little bit about the leadership page that has some of the key links that we're talking about today. So to get to that page, when you need it, you're going to go to membership, and then you're going to go down to your section or division, and you're going to click that. And then there's a call out page right here. You just want to click leadership page. And then that is going to take you to, let's try this again. To this page. And what right now I'm going to discuss is the handbooks. You should have all received an email about the handbooks, but I just want to talk a little bit more about that. So the handbook is a really great tool for you as you settle into your position. It gives a good overview of the society, of access, anything that could potentially come up. It should be in this handbook. There's also some contact information that is found here, but again, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm always a great reference or a resource for you as well. In your role, you are going to be trying to engage the members. So we'll talk a little bit about best practices. For some year-round engagement, you can do at any time. I like to hold Zoom meetings to encourage topical discussions and promote social hours, recruit future leadership through personal interactions, and encourage diversity in your leadership positions. And also, when soliciting session ideas, consider hot topics or new issues to gain traction and interest. A great way to involve students is to highlight the student competition opportunities to let students know that their contributions are appreciated. Invite grad students to participate as moderators. And then at the annual meeting, some useful tips or engagement ideas is organize a 5-minute and poster presentation session and award certificate with cash prizes. Remind members that they can interact with leaders at the annual meeting and rub elbows with their idols. And use targeted emails, connections during annual meeting, and discussion boards to develop cross-division community society synopsis. Also call or email other leaders and pitch ideas for these sessions. So that handbook is in this area of the leadership page. And also being developed this year. We developed it this year. It's just starting, so there's only a few dates. Is our annual membership calendar. So right now we just have a few deadlines about some awards that are coming up. As things continue, I will add to this, but we also have the society elections and then deadline for annual reports at the end of the year. And now Susan is going to talk a little bit more about the harassment reporting process.
Thanks, Hannah. I actually want to use this opportunity to do a quick DEI update on where we are with our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. So as you probably are aware, the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative is a top priority in the strategic plans as a cross-society initiative across all 3 societies. And we started the project in the fall of 2020, and I'm working with DEI project consultant Elizabeth Gillespie. Some of you may know her. She's been on the Soils board as the early career rep and has been heavily involved with some of the Soils divisions. So anyway, the accomplishments to date have been updating our diversity, equity, and inclusion statement. With Beth's help, we've developed diversity web pages for each of the 3 societies to keep people updated on our activities and some of our demographics. We did this last spring a member survey and provided a report to all 3 of the boards of directors. And we also published that information in CSA News in August. And that's also on that diversity page. We've also developed collaborations with MANNERS, which is the Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resource and Related Sciences, and SACNAS, which is the Society for Advancement of Chicanos and Hispanics and Native Americans in Science. And we had a couple of student initiatives this last year at the annual meeting. Of course, the ASF Ideas Fund was developed to fund projects to build our DEI activities through the extremely generous contribution from Sarah Lingle. The SSSA DEI board member at large has been approved through a bylaws vote and has an appointed position until we do the elections. And ASA and CSSA boards have approved the addition of a DEI board member at large and are working on the bylaws vote at this time. Finally, we have wrapped up a recommendations report, and the re-envisioned DEI committee, which was the diversity committee, is reviewing it for a presentation to the boards next month. And this report, if approved, will be the guide for the next phase of our DEI initiative. And we'll have about 7 or 8 different activities to focus on. Our 3 current presidents that are on this call, along with the ASF chair, Samantha Miller, have written an article on inclusion. And these accomplishments and some more, which is in the January issue of CSA News. I'm going to post the link to that article. I just want you to note that you have to be logged in at Wiley to see the whole article right now. There's a PDF that is being updated as well that you wouldn't need to log in for. In that article, you'll see a link to a new feedback form we've just developed. And the feedback can range from reporting an issue or an incident to a concern, to ideas and suggestions for building diversity, equity, and inclusion. And as leaders, should you hear of any concerns, you can either refer people to the form, which can remain confidential. It only goes to myself and Luther Smith, our interim CEO, for follow-up and connection if necessary. And there's also our contact information you can see right there on the form. We know this is just the start of addressing any issues, but we are taking steps and we're continually moving forward with our initiative. So any questions on that? And I'm going to post that link as well.
Great. Thanks, Susan. So now we're going to go into governance, and our Director of Governance, Sarah Utek, is going to give a little presentation. So hold on 1 second while I get that prepared.
Yeah. Well, Hannah's getting that up for me. I want to introduce myself. I'm Sarah Utek, Director of Governance, as Hannah said. I've been with the societies about 20 years. doing a variety of different positions. So I'm really excited to be in this role and happy to help you in any way with governance questions, boards of directors, our society officers. That's right in my wheelhouse. If anytime you have any questions, my contact info is here or on the website. Next slide, Hannah. I'm just going to briefly go over our structure of governance, focusing a little bit on elections and then also some communications resources and an opportunity at the end to ask some questions, but jump in if any time to ask a question, either unmute your mic or drop it in the chat. Next slide. So our governance structure, we have society officers. So you've met the current presidents. We also have presidents-elect, and then we have past presidents. All three society have boards of directors, and there's board reps. We also have division chairs, section chairs, and then we have community leaders, and then our committees and our task forces. So that's kind of the chain of command of our structure. The one thing to point out is we have nominations committees for society elections. So to put forth names for the presidents, we have nominations committees for each society, and those are the division and section chairs. And then for the board reps and the division chairs elect and section vice chairs each year, those names come through the nominations committees, which are the division or section officers. And then I did want to point out, if you ever have any questions, throughout the year, like who is on the nominations committee, who's on, my division, who's on this committee, who's on next year's committee, who's on next year board. These three pages, which is the agronomy, crops and soils committee pages. So the committee's pages cover whether it's a board or a committee or a division or a section or a community. It tells you who the leadership is, the past leadership and the future leadership. And then the other thing it does is it gives you the guidelines, what every committee does, what every board does. There's a PDF on those links for every committee and every board. So we, that's a great resource for you to use throughout the year, especially if you're trying to contact somebody and you want to know, well, who is your board rep? Who's on your nominations committee? Who are some of your leadership for past years or future years? Next slide. And then this just goes over the elections. So the governance, what we handle here at headquarters is the society elections. So those are the board reps, those are the division chairs, those are the section chairs, those are the president candidates, and that ballot, the elections happen in the spring, and they take office the following January. We gather names right around the annual meeting, and I will be prompting you along the way. So you'll hear from me again, probably end of summer, early fall, and I'll say, hey, it's time to get your candidates ready for the election. And here's who you're going to elect from your division or your section. Because those board terms, they're 3 years, but we only have a third rotate off every year. So you won't need a board rep every single year. You'll only need one every 3 years, for example. We do ask you to start thinking about recruitment just a little bit prior to the annual meeting. You'll probably want something at the annual meeting at your division or section business meeting to announce that you're seeking candidates. And then you can also use the discussion boards to announce those nominations. Next slide. I wanted to point out here that it's really a two-way street with communications. Use your board rep. If you have anything that you want to take under consideration by the board, contact your board rep. That's a good person to talk to about, if you want any changes, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, if you want something changed in how your division, even, Hannah referred to something earlier about a name change, or maybe that was Beth about a poll. If your section or division wants to change your name, if you're thinking you want to change something, if you want anything considered by the board, talk to your board rep. The board rep can then bring it to the next society board meeting. So bring those ideas forward. You can also submit ideas and areas that need attention in your annual report that gets filed every year. And then you can also bring forward discussion items at your division and section business meetings. As far as communications, use your discussion boards. We've talked about that a bit today. And then use those division and section business meetings to have good conversations with your board reps, with the presidents, and then contact us at headquarters. We're happy to help, especially gathering candidate names. We can pull a roster of all of your division and community members, even those members who have selected your division as their first choice. We can pull a list of past candidates or leaders of other divisions, sections, or even committees in the past, or committee chairs that you may want to tap in for a candidate. And then there's a couple of resource links here on the bottom of the slide. We do have a governance page on our website, and that does have our strategic plans. The board minutes are posted there. Our bylaws are posted there. So that's a good resource throughout the year. Next slide. And then just a couple of prompts. Holding this orientation session is a good first step, but how can we continue to improve communications with our leadership? How can we help you become engaged? How can your board and headquarters help develop future leaders, really looking at that diversity, equity, inclusion? How can we recruit members to run for office? And then how can we increase participation in our elections? I did put a graphic here on the current percentage of members who voted. It's pretty low. The industry standard for associations and societies is about 20 to 22%. So we're lower than average, and this has been trending downward. So what can we do to help increase our engagement with our members in the election process? And then I think the last slide is just asking for any questions or feedback, and my contact info is there. I can take any questions now. I think we have a few minutes for questions before we move on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, contact me anytime. Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah. So now we are gonna volley it over to Chris Boomsma. He is our Director of Education. So let me just get that slide up. Hold on one moment.
Yeah, no rush, Hannah. So thank you everyone for joining today. It's my privilege to speak with each of you. Appreciate each of the services that you do for the societies. So a little bit about the Department of Education. We are a department that principally and formally works principally with ASA and SSSA, American Society of Agronomy and Soil Science Society of America, though we're starting to do some stuff with the Crop Science Society of America, which I'm pretty excited about. Do a lot of different things. Number one thing we probably do is offer a lot of webinars. Webinars aimed at primarily our certified crop advisors and certified professional soil scientists, but also sometimes our membership. We are an increasingly having a diverse audience, increasingly international, which is really exciting. And what these webinars do is give us the opportunity here at the Tri-Societies to put you as members on a podium, you could say, to talk to this very, very large audience out there. That audience, again, is mainly certified professionals, but it's also increasingly farmers and other scientists. So that's one service I want to talk about that's available to you and those in your division, sections, and communities. If you would like to be a speaker on any of these webinars, we would love to have you. We'd love to talk about topics and opportunities with you. It'd be fantastic, because we always need more speakers, because we're getting more requests for webinars all the time. So that's one thing I want to talk about. The next thing, and that's right above it on what you see on the page that's up right now, which says grant proposals. It is not our task here to write our own proposals and take over the space that you folks operate in, which is obviously often seeking funding and getting projects funded. What we do like to do, though, is come alongside each of you and offer the services that we have to make your grant proposals stronger. So obviously we have outreach capabilities to the diverse audiences I spoke to earlier. We also can do survey work for you. We can do stuff related to curriculum development, video production, and the like. So if you, again, anyone in your division, sections, or communities needs those type of services, please reach out to us. Anything, honestly, anything related to grants that you think we may be helpful with, we are more than happy to speak with you. Often we just ask that you write us in as a subcontractor or in some similar role just to cover the costs of our work. So we are there to amplify your work and hopefully make your proposals stronger. So it's another thing we're doing. Another thing we've been doing recently, it really sped up in the heart of COVID, was hosting virtual events. And Hannah, there's no page for this, so you don't have to go scooting around for that one. We are hosting virtual events, not only our Sustainable Agronomy Conference here internally that we host in conjunction with our meetings group, but also we've been hosting other entities' virtual events. Local CCA boards, for example, Oklahoma State came to us, University of Kentucky. Various organizations are just looking for the services that we can provide to help them put on their events. Again, not to take over entirely or anything like that, just to offer services. So if anyone here would like to do that, we are more than happy to assist you on that. Another thing we're developing is curricula. We get funded by various groups to help them develop certain curricula. We've just finished a Foundations in Applied Agronomy curricula. And Hannah, if you go to the top, please, and you choose the drop-down feature under Education, you can go to Foundations of Applied Agronomy right there. Yep. And this is just one example of what we could produce. This is a typical training curriculum that we've put together to prepare CCAs for the ICCA exam. But we do other things for other entities too. And so if you need materials developed, or you'd like to take a look at some of the materials we have, and maybe you could use them in the classroom or something like that, those things do exist. So again, when we develop these things, we use our membership to help develop them. We give those opportunities to our members, and then we help put them together, and then we push them out to various groups, including various companies, by the way. A lot of companies are interested in these things, in addition to individuals out there who are wanting to learn about agronomy. We're currently have the agronomy one done. We're working on a soils curriculum that is going to be similar to this, and hopefully it's beneficial to a wide variety of audiences. The other thing we're looking to do, and we're really trying to get this off the ground, so I'd really love to work with you folks that are doing this, is there are workshops at our annual meeting, and we're increasingly trying to get them virtual as well, if that is appropriate. So we're trying to really get started first in the statistics space, but we're looking to branch out from there. And so if you, by chance, happen to be involved in the annual meeting, hosting workshops of any kind, we'd love to potentially explore opportunities with you to make them virtual as well. Or maybe you just want to host it at a different time of year. We can offer that service to you, and we'd be happy to come alongside you and work on that. So lastly, in the education department here, we have lots of connections with various companies that are looking for people to train their staff, either through the stuff we've already put together or new stuff that we could work with you on producing. So we can help you make connections to these groups and be teachers in certain instances. So those are the high-level services I really want to emphasize to you. We hope to give you a platform to stand on to get your science out to the field and to have impact in the world. And so if you have any interest in that, please reach out to me. Hannah, if you'd scroll to the top of the page that you are on and go back to that tab around collaboration, you folks can go right to that collaboration page, and you will be able to reach out to me there by email. And you can see the link right there. Just hit email, reach out. I am very happy to work with anyone that would like to explore options. With that, Hannah, I think that's all I have for today. We're ready for the next person.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
So next up, we have Matt Wiscavish. He is our Director of Publications. Matt, if you just want to give a quick introduction as I get your slides set up here.
That's great. Thank you, Hannah. As usual and as expected, Hannah has saved the best for last. So I do appreciate that. And Hannah, as you get those set up, I'm going to jump right ahead here. So, you know, as society leaders, you're engaged and you're participating in society activities, and our journals, books, and the magazines provide great opportunities for individuals to get involved. So I'm going to start today with my ask. I'm asking you to promote our journals to your division, your community, your section members. Encourage them to publish in our journals. Encourage them to be peer reviewers for our journals or to serve as editors. We really want our members to participate in our journals. Next slide, Hannah. You know, Access on behalf of the Tri-Societies publishes 13 journals, 2 magazines, and a book library in partnership with Wiley. All of our publications are available on the Wiley Online Library, and Wiley doesn't own our journals. We didn't sell our journals. The Tri-Societies have retained full ownership and editorial decision-making regarding all of our publications. Our publications and editorial boards are responsible for all publishing stages from submission to publishing of content. Next. Wiley's responsible for overall marketing, subscription, and sales. Wiley completes article production, proofing, and hosting. They manage workflow, scheduling, and systems. They also do quality assurance, and they support our staff and our authors. A background to our agreement: it was signed in 2019. It began in 2020 and is a 5-year agreement. Wiley also provides us with some editorial guidance, data reporting, and recommendations to improve our publications and the profitability and sustainability. Next. Our publication staff of 15 works with our 13 journal editors and more than 500 editorial board members to produce our 7 hybrid subscription journals, 6 gold open access journals, our more than 340 book library, 2 magazines, our monthly podcast, annual meeting presentation, and keep our archives live and available. Next. Down.
Hold on.
Next.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go. All right. This is our collection of all 13 titles. Again, 7 hybrid subscription and 6 gold OA titles. The 3 societies share ownership of some of our journals. For example, the Journal of Environmental Quality is owned by all 3 societies. The AGE Journal is owned by the Agronomy and Crop Societies. The flagship journals, Crop Science, Agronomy Journal, SSAJ, are singly owned by their societies. And one thing I can't emphasize enough is that we'd really like to see more members publishing with us. Next. Our journals are undergoing a redevelopment exercise right now to increase their quality, improve metrics, build value. We've introduced in the past some open science initiatives like the credit taxonomy, publishing the associate editors' names, and we're looking at adding new initiatives to promote journal-to-journal transfers, offer webinars, and expand communications and awareness. Over time, we will add new features to increase transparency, improve journal reach, journal impact, and grow and strengthen our journals. Next. Our magazines. CSA News is our monthly member magazine featuring longer feature articles and will be coming out in the January issue with refined graphics and layout. The Crops and Soils magazine features applied research targeted to certified crop advisors, practitioners in the field, and is published 6 times a year. Next. Our book program has more than 340 titles. We've released 7 new titles in 2021. We have new and updated books currently in development, and we'll be leveraging internal and Wiley resources to drive our book development moving forward and our 5-year publishing plan. Last but not least is our Field Lab Earth podcast. It features conversations with authors discussing their research and discoveries. The podcast is freely available online. Again, our team in publications is happy to help you. Please contact me with any questions. I also want to thank you for your time and expertise in stepping up to help lead in our societies. We do all appreciate it. Thank you. Hannah?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I just want to open it up to you. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask that or drop it in the chat, whichever you feel more comfortable doing. Okay. There's no more questions. I just want to take the time to again thank you and thank everyone for presenting. I hope this has been helpful. Just keep an eye on your email. I'll be sending out the slides that both Sarah and Matt use, as well as the recording of this. So thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.